You're watching Footy Fantasy. Leadership say the thing go beat your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. Leadership say the thing go meet your football need. Your football need. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. Your eyes go see. Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy.
Welcome. So regular Sunday service. I think this is the first one I'm on since the World Cup started. I think so. Yeah, it's the first one. But before I go ahead, let me introduce the guest. Arinze, it's been a while. I think you've been on since probably last year, right? It wasn't the last year. That's when you came in.
Yeah, towards the end of last year, mid Premier League season. So, I decided to show up. They didn't invite me to the Arsenal league winning podcast. So, and the last time I was here, I was getting roasted for I think we just lost to Villa at the time. So
that's true.
Yeah, so I was getting roasted. So I decided to wear my chief hat with my Arsenal brand new jersey that, funny enough, EJ actually got me for my birthday. So
okay.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm here representing Arsenal. Since Nigeria has not the World Cup, I might as well. It's the Pan-African jersey as well. So for every African country that's playing. So there you go.
Okay. Josh, our Canadian / French / Nigerian counterpart. Josh, how's it going?
It's going good. As good as can be. I'm a little nervous because our game kicks off in about 55 minutes. So it's always exciting to see a team make it to the knockout stage. But we all know what the knockout stage is, right? Is win or go home. So it's so bittersweet, but looking forward to a great conversation today.
Okay. Sounds good. Before I go ahead, we have to do it mean so that more people can find our content. On YouTube, it's Footy Fantasy, FWTI Fantasy, Road to 3K. Follow us, like, share, subscribe. More World Cup content. We're going to try to bring more diverse content from these games, fan content, so just stay locked in. Twitter is Footy80 Fantasy, Instagram Fantasy Footy, and our amazing Afrobeat theme music was our friend of the show, DJ SJ Music Soji. You can find him on Instagram at SJ Music. Let's dive in. It's the knockout stages. And I guess the first place to start, just because knockout stage is just looking at how everything has, played out so far. I'll start with Arinze. I guess we had maybe 5-6 pre-tournament favorites. Which of them looks the most vulnerable? Which of them are you looking at like, I don't think people are going anywhere out of all the favorites?
So if you had asked me at the end of round 2 of the group stages, I would have said Brazil. Even though Brazil is my own favorite to win the World Cup, but they looked really vulnerable. Morocco exposed them. And even against Haiti, you could tell they beat Haiti, but Haiti was not a really strong team, right? So they didn't really look convincing. Now, after round 3, I'm looking at our English boys, and I'm like, I don't even think that there is a chance that Congo can do something against them, right? So those are the ones I'm looking at like, you guys don't look really convincing at all. So yeah, Brazil initially, but I think by the time they played Scotland, I was like, okay, this team looks like they're rising up. England, after that first Croatia game, the rest of the games have been like not good. Even against, was it Panama they played yesterday? Yeah.
Panama, yeah.
They played Panama yesterday. I was like, a better team would have probably even beaten them, honestly. So yeah, that's my own hot take for. I guess that's the one team now. England is the one. So I'm sure after the next round I'll have another one. So
fair enough. That's how the World Cup is playing out so far. I agree. That's a good one. England look very turgid. Very, very turgid. When I watched them, I'm like, I guess my own take about England is I think they'll be fine. And I was just talking to my dad about this, funny enough, on our way back from church. I said my problem with England is their manager. He's a good tactician. Tuchel is a good tactician, right?
Yeah.
We know that. The fear I have for England is when they face adversity. I feel like international football is all about having a manager using Ancelotti's quote. There are two different types of managers. Ancelotti said this recently, like in last year, the ones who create problems for themselves and the ones who don't do nothing. They just get out of the way. Tuchel seems like the kind of guy, like when there's adversity, he's going to create problems for himself.
Yeah.
Either he falls out with a player, he starts screaming on the touchline, makes it about him, takes out the wrong player when he's making a sub. He has always come as that kind of guy. Like when there's adversity, he's going to like create problems rather than do the other thing, just get out of the way, like, or try to calm the players down. I might be wrong, but that's what I sense about Tuchel. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy where, okay, there's adversity, just remind the players who they are. You guys are very good players. You have some spiritual world-class players in there. You guys have a physical, athletic advantage over most of the team in Europe, apart from one or two maybe. You know, and you also technical. Just get out of your way. He seems like the guy that will not get out of his own way. That's the only thing I have about England, and I think that will probably hurt them down the line. That's what I see. Maybe like a semi-final, quarterfinal against like an equally matchup to like France, Spain, even Argentina. I feel like he will do something that he's not supposed to do because sometimes I think he wants to make it about him. You know.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, I say, who has England? Even in the Euros, in the last World Cup, which top team has England beaten? They still haven't. Like, I don't think they've been the likes of like a Spain or Argentina or Brazil. They kind of find some path of least resistance into the semifinals, you know, that kind of stuff or whatever. And when they hit the first big team, and to me, those were better English teams than what I've seen this World Cup.
Absolutely, I agree.
I mean, they could meet again. I say Congo. I mean, Congo can turn it on one day, and you know. So,
it's a dangerous time, very dangerous time. Josh, do you have any pre-tournament favorite? Who you think like? You guys?
Yeah, obviously, England is on that list, but obviously England has always been on that list, right? Of they're always thrown in as a favorite, but once the tournament starts, there's all these question marks, and if this team can bring it back home. I mean, you guys have touched on England, so I'm not gonna beat on that drum way too much. But the one thing I would say is, Spain. I can't put my finger on Spain right now. Spain is one of those. I thought Spain was going to be Spain, France in the finals before the tournament started. That was kind of like the Euros bringing it on. But I'm starting to see the team is relying way too much on Yamil Yamal. And I'm like, I don't know if the World Cup is that stage. Yes, did it in the Euros, but I don't know if the World Cup is that stage where, and even in the Euros, it wasn't just Yamal. Even though Yamal was the star boy, with Williams on the other wing, you had Fabian, you had Rodri. It wasn't, but now, 2 years later, it's starting to look like it's all about the 18-year-old kid. So I need to see more from Spain. Also, Portugal is a close second. You know, I'm actually really surprised at Portugal just because I think they played the most friendlies before the World Cup. Every time I woke up, went on YouTube, there was a new friendly, Bruno Fernandes scoring, doing knee slides. And I'm like, okay, these guys are ready. How many friendlies can you play before the tournament? And now, I don't know where their goals are going to come from. They seem like an almost team, and they just can't seem to figure it out. The midfield that everyone keeps talking about, the best midfield in the world. Every time you watch Portugal play, I'm like, where is this midfield? They all seem to be fighting with the strikers trying to score. And it's just, Portugal needs to play a team game. So I think it's going to be, obviously you guys said England, which is definitely up there in terms of favorites. But right now, I think, Spain more, Portugal, I would say, huge question marks. Huge question marks there.
Very good one. I'll double down on Portugal because that's the team I had in there. It's like, if you guys don't mention, I would have been shocked, you know, because I've been known to be like a guy with a Portuguese agenda because of my, my lack of regard of home. I call him Homelander. That's what I call him. I remember, yeah, you're a great player for our club, me and you, Josh, like whatever in the past, but his character, his personality, if anybody who watches the show, he reminds me of Homelander. He is, wow. I cannot believe in 2026, I'm going to start this way, that one, Portugal, very talented team, bench, everything. That team is so talented from back to front. Maybe not so much in defense, to be honest. But from the midfield forward, extremely talented team. And you are giving that talent to Roberto Martinez. When we saw what he did to Belgium's golden generation, I use the word golden generation, and you still gave it to this guy.
Yeah.
And then, and in 2026, you are letting Cristiano Ronaldo hold you to ransom. I cannot believe it. I really can't. It's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Because when you see that team, and if you take out Cristiano and just play the right players, maybe play Leao, maybe put in Gonzalo Ramos, that team becomes a whole different thing because they have runners.
Yeah.
And you build the team around the guy who had his best creative season in Bruno Fernandes. And this is what he thrives on. Runners with Pedro Neto and all those guys, and Leao, they will kill teams. I don't understand. Like, it makes no sense to me. So yeah, I think it's Portugal. I think Portugal is getting knocked out by Croatia. I'm very confident about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't honestly, Portugal, I think those two things go hand in hand. Roberto Martinez and Ronaldo. I just don't think Roberto Martinez has a strong enough personality to either tell Ronaldo or to convince him or coach him into being a star player from the bench, right? Yeah. Maybe not the same level now. Neymar, you called him up to Brazil, but he's obviously on the bench because the main guys are playing or whatever. Because Portugal, on paper, they could probably have top 2 or top 3 best teams in the World Cup. I mean, that team is supremely talented. Like, I couldn't even, as I was watching, I was like, this guy also plays for Portugal. This guy also plays for Portugal. I'm like, wow, this team is really talented, right? And then the starting lineup comes up and I see Ronaldo and I'm like, you people are not serious. I was like, come on, you can't be trying to win the World Cup and Ronaldo has to be the one that is starting, right? He can always come up from the bench, impact stuff, all that stuff, or whatever. And there'll be no shame in his game, right? Like, if he wins the World Cup from the bench, he still won the World Cup. He can have a debate with Messi. He say, look, I scored 1 or 2 goals, and I'm up there with you. But you don't have to be the star guy. Not at this point.
I don't get it. Just
to play. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I was just saying, just to play devil's advocate. I know the whole talk with Ronaldo and all, but I'm not saying, obviously he's past his prime now, and hopefully this is his last. I know they're talking about the Euros, because I think the Euros is in England again. So the UK's doing a joint tournament in 2 years. So, but the thing with when I watch Argentina, and I'm not saying Messi's a bit different, Messi's a bit more mobile, Messi's still able to get goals on his own, right? But isn't it something to say about the Portuguese team that you're playing with someone like Ronaldo, right? Can't the rest of the team work for Ronaldo? Like you were saying, have runners, which they do have the runners, right? Like, can they put, because they were showing Ronaldo's touches yesterday after the game. Most of his touches were outside the box, right? How many crosses did Portugal have into the box? And you have Ronaldo was probably after Haaland. Ronaldo is probably the second best player in the air, in the box, right? So I don't know if Portugal is playing to Ronaldo's strengths or if everyone in the Portuguese team is just trying to play for themselves. Right now, look, even if you took Ronaldo out, right? Like, there were a couple of chances from Portugal. Yes, on the regular day, the Bruno shot might have gone in, the João Felix shot might have gone in. But all these little things is, yes, these guys are coming on, but they haven't really shown that much difference in the style of play, or like Portugal looking a bit different with Ronaldo off or with those players on, right? So that's why I'm kind of like looking at Portugal. Yes, Ronaldo could be a problem, but why not just play to his strengths? Why not play to his strengths, right? So that's where I don't know what the conversation is in the locker room.
I think it's unfortunately his position. Lautaro Martinez plays striker in Argentina, right? It frees up Messi to be like Antoine Griezmann when Cruz was there, right? So he doesn't have to hold a position down. And if you watch, what was the first game that they played where Messi scored the hat trick?
Algeria.
Like Messi is literally walking around, right? But he's walking around in a position that he has, Rodrigo De Paul and all these other guys that can run around with him. He's not up top. He's not on the wings, right? And he's just walking around, and it's easy for him to just find a hole, and then boom, he just, makes something happen. Ronaldo playing in the front three, I don't think helps Portugal, right? It's unfortunate because I don't think Ronaldo can play like a number 10 or like a supporting striker role or whatever. But I think that's the problem. Like the position Ronaldo is playing in, you kind of need somebody more dynamic, more of a team player than Ronaldo is willing to do, at least at this moment anyway.
Yeah. So to add to that, I agree with what you just said. From a tactical point, there's a tactical misfit there.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing you have to think about, Josh, is this. All these players are not stupid, right? All these players are playing in like elite clubs, tactical. The players themselves, they know that does this guy make us better as a team? They know he doesn't.
Yeah.
They know that. That is what is causing the fact that everybody's just trying to say, you know what, we'll do what we can do within this tactical limitation.
Yeah.
If you reverse that to Argentina, they all know, it's like a collective buy-in that Scaloni has done from like 4 or 5 years ago when he told them like, this is our guy. Once you do all of these things, think about it. If a coach tells you, if we do all of these things, we will achieve what we need. And since he told them this, they won Copa America. I think they won like twice, right? They won Copa America. They've won the World Cup. So do you imagine the amount of collective belief? So any new person that comes in understands once you come in, like, no. We're playing for this man.
Yeah.
Once you do your job, our chance of winning this thing is like, once we get to this ball to this man in the final third, we are fine. Every other thing, let's just do it for him.
Yeah.
So,
I think also
it's different. It's a tough conversation, right? Because the Ronaldo fan in me wants to be like, he's fine. But to your point, from a tactical standpoint, and even just ability, right? Is Ronaldo's game has always been based on physicality, right? Messi's just been based on I don't even know what Messi's game is based on. This guy just, he moves left, everybody moves right. So he's got like a force field, right? That just like
elite football IQ. That's the word.
Yeah.
Elite football IQ. It's like he is the player I've seen the most who knows how to interpret space the most in the final third.
And it's ridiculous. It's incredible because it's like, this is Messi. Like I remember telling somebody, I was like, why can't Algeria just find somebody to man mark Messi? But you're like, realistically, the guy will lose Messi at some point in time, right? So he's like walking around, strolling, it looks as if he's not doing anything, and all of a sudden there's like a big, Atlantic Ocean around him.
Look at the goal he scored against Austria, right?
Yeah.
All of us have seen that goal 100 times for Barcelona.
Yep.
100 times. That goal he arrived, he scored that same goal in the Clasico, one of the Clasico that he had.
Oh yeah, when he put the shirt up.
Yeah, the shirt up. Yeah.
Literally. So the question I always ask you, like, when you see somebody doing the same thing, despite whatever tactical ideas you throw at him to stop him, what do you think is happening? You cannot stop him. You can.
Yeah.
Well, you can't stop this man. You cannot. It's ridiculous. I think it's. I think mine is Portugal. If I have another team that doesn't pass the full sneak test, and they were not predetermined favorites, to be fair. So maybe this is unfair from me. I think it's Netherlands. They have good firepower.
Wow, okay.
They have good firepower. I'm not impressed with them defensively. When I watch them, like they don't pass the sneak test. In fact, I think Morocco is going to take them out. That's my.
I didn't rate Netherlands from jump. Like I was kind of like, like coming from the Van Persie, Robben, Snyder, Netherlands
generation.
Yeah, they can't even hold a candle to that team, and that team didn't even win anything. I mean, they made it to the final, right? But this team is not anywhere close to that.
Yeah,
that team. So I was like, quarterfinals at best, for me.
Yeah. I was gonna actually. I know we kind of jumped gun there, but Actually, the Netherlands was going to be one of the teams that was like is kind of going under the radar. Well, because to your point, like they were not even part of the top six, or I'd even think about the Netherlands, right? And I was actually watching them. I was like, I didn't even know half those players were Dutch that play in the Prem, but like your Somervilles and all that stuff. But they're one of those teams that throughout history they've always just been in the conversation, but not quite got it to the finish line. And sometimes they've been unlucky, right? Like the what did the last World Cup against Argentina? Once again, you know, FIFA does what FIFA does whenever Messi's playing. So these are all these little calls, these are all these little things that we also
how do we get here? We talk about Messi's.
We talk about context, you know.
IQ,
So
and they were like, FIFA is helping.
yeah. Let's not talk about the red card that could have happened against Algeria, but who's counting? Who's counting?
Yeah, that's true. It's counting. So this is a good. I think it's a good segue. I thought of this. I was like, you know what? I love hot takes, right? You know, I'm maybe like Arinze, maybe Josh. You know, I'm very into American sports apart from like football, soccer. So American sports is during the business end. It's all about hot takes. So I'm very into hot takes. So I'm like, okay, let's give one outrageous prediction that as of today, June 28th, on Sunday, all of us are like, come on. But next week, you think everyone's like, wow, he was right. You know? Like, so this is the time for the hottest of hot takes. It doesn't have to be right. It's a hot take. It doesn't have to be right. That's what I'm just telling you, but it does not have to be right. It's just, that's why it's a hot take. But it has to be outrageous. A little bit, slightly. You cannot give me like some like this, like something obvious. It has to be a bit outrageous.
Okay.
So.
The one that is for me, I have three, but the other ones don't seem like I have like Senegal going to quarterfinals, which is feasible.
Against Belgium, okay, fair enough.
Congo beating England, which you talked about, is feasible. I have Mexico going to the semis.
Holy shit!
Wow, what is Mexico's route again? Because they play.
England is there. England is there for sure. After they play, they play tomorrow. No, Tuesday. They play on Tuesday. Who they play? Let me check. I'm looking at it right now. They play.
No, they're playing. Was it Paraguay?
No, Ecuador.
They play Ecuador.
They play Ecuador.
Yes. They play Ecuador.
If they beat Ecuador, they play the winners of England.
England, Congo, right?
Yeah.
And I have them based on up to one. I was like, okay, they're going to beat Ecuador. I think they can beat either England or
Congo. Yeah.
Congo. Okay. And out of the three countries hosting, I don't think any country has the home advantage that Mexico has, because whether it's in Mexico or in the US, the Mexicans are here, right? No, seriously. Like, I don't know if any of you guys, Josh, you're in Canada, but are you in the US?
He's in Texas, so that he's in the homeland. He's in the homeland. He's in the OG land.
What is? I can't speak for Canada, right? Canada is a little bit maybe too far north.
Actually, to your point, in the last since after COVID, like the Mexican population and Colombian population has like tripled here. It's a lot.
Everywhere I've gone to fan fest. I have seen Mexican flags. Way more than U.S. flags.
I agree.
Like you see U.S., you can tell the U.S. The Americans are like, it's in America, so we have to support. You know, we will win, all that jive or whatever. Mexico is like, look, America is us. Like we're all sitting together.
Like at my job, right? I work in an oil and gas company. Oil and gas is pretty much predominantly like a lot of the Caucasian population, right?
Yeah.
During this whole World Cup, I have seen like 60% of the jerseys I've seen at work, or even the complex when I come down to like the open floor,
like the main lobby.
Yes, where we have different companies. Some Mexican jerseys.
Yeah, I have seen Mexican flags everywhere. So I'm like, if they're playing Ecuador, I really think no matter where they're playing, they can take England or DR Congo. Right, and I don't know who they'll meet in the quarters, but that's why it's a little bit outlandish that they're just going to surprise somebody and make it to the semis. I'm giving them that Japan-Korea vibe of 2002, right, where Korea made it all the way to the semis, based off of home advantage. And they're a footballing country. They hosted the World Cup twice before now, as well. So not because their team is like super talented. I don't think this team is that great compared to other Mexican teams, but I think they'll use that home advantage to push them on. So that's my outlandish. Out of the 3 ones that are kind of like, this one is the one that's like, okay, 1% chance, but that's my take.
Okay. I like it.
You know what? It's actually not even outlandish now that you now you talk about like the way you've kind of broken it down. It's not even outlandish because you're right. Like, especially if Mexico scores first, it's game over. They know how to protect their lead, right?
So you sit in a low block and defend.
Yeah. Because they made South Africa look so bad. Because I was so shocked when the first game with South Africa, I was like, whoa, like they made South Africa look bad, and South Africa is actually not a bad team.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be So you're right. Yeah. I can't even think of any outlandish. Mine was gonna be Colombia. Like after watching Colombia last night, I was like, wow, like Portugal was lucky to get away.
They were lucky.
That offsides was like a toe that was off, which the new rules are coming into play, right, as of next season. So, but like the way Colombia plays, they have exciting players. Arias in the middle. You've got the Crystal Palace guy on the wing. You've got Rodriguez that just for some reason when he puts on that Colombian jersey, he becomes Ballon d'Or-esque, right? And
that's I agree.
Same with what's his name, former Tottenham player, Sanchez, the defender.
Sanchez, yeah.
So all these guys are just, it's just the energy that they're kind of like the Mexico, right? The energy they play with. I haven't seen that energy matched, and they're also in Argentina's bracket, right, which is the easier route. So I can definitely see them going all the way to face Argentina. I think it's the semis they would face Argentina.
Yeah.
And in that game, it's going to be a matter of, because the mentality, like in the Champions League, whereby 2 teams from the same league meet. And it becomes this more of like domestic respect. That's my only issue with Colombia versus Argentina, is I feel like they're just gonna be overwhelmed by the South American hierarchy, and then all of a sudden not play their game. It does happen in football where 2 teams from the same, not necessarily much with Europe, but especially places like South America, 2 teams face, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're just gonna respect the other team to do their thing, right? So if Colombia can keep playing the way they played against Portugal, I think they can make it very difficult for the likes of Messi, right? Because if they can not necessarily lock Messi, like we said, right? It's a tough ask, but if you can disrupt the Argentinian midfielders from getting on the ball, then you can isolate Messi, right? And I think Colombia is the one team that's capable of doing that.
I think the only game they lost in qualifiers, if I remember correctly, was to Colombia. Argentina.
Oh yeah, that was in the game they lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
World Cup qualifiers. It was to Colombia. Yeah, Colombia have their number, right? So I think they also beat them in the group stage of Copa America, even though Argentina still went on to win. They beat them.
They lost. So Colombia. This is where I made that point about respect. I was still disappointed in the Copa finals, right? Colombia versus Argentina, and Colombia just played like a team who was scared to get on the ball. Luis Diaz was missing. I think I was around the same time about his whole father getting kidnapped and all. I think it was around then. I may be wrong, but the whole team just did not seem like they wanted to be there, and also they were scared.
I watched it.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So it's just one of those things, like if they can come out with the same energy, then I think they could do damage for sure.
Mine is Brazil, Japan.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think Japan will knock out Brazil.
Ah.
That's doable though.
I can see it. I can
I
see
do.
it.
I really,
I
really,
can see
really do. In the heat of Houston, because it's here, the game is here tomorrow. Heat of Houston, 12 o'clock, 90-something degrees.
Ooh, in the round of 32. My goodness, that is.
I can see
You sure the
them
Japanese can handle that heat though?
They
Can the
can.
Japanese handle that
They're
heat
quick.
over the Brazilians?
Those boys are quick. I think they play in Miami. They are quick. I can see them. I can see them running rings around Uncle Cass. Thank you for your yes. Last season and the first season United, you did well. You gave us about hey, Uncle Cass. Because during the season, I kept saying like, I was calling him in our group chat Ozempic Casemiro. That's what I was calling. People laugh.
Wow.
I said the Ozempic has kicked in. I told them now. The Ozempic has worn off. I'm watching him. They walk up like, Uncle. The Uncle.
Yeah.
His lack of mobility, I think it will be a problem.
His backup is Fabinho, who is also not
good. I saw him when he came on.
Either,
yeah,
well.
so that's why I'll just shout because I feel like Brazil. Come on, because Japan is missing their two best players, right? Like Mitoma out injured for the tournament, like he didn't make it. And Endo.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay, because I was like, what the hell happened to Mitoma?
Okay.
Yeah, he got injured. He got injured during training camp.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's why I missed the tournament. He got injured, so that's a big loss. But they still look really good, right? I saw them like, wow, these guys are running. I know their group was kind of easy-ish, maybe, but like because they had Tunisia. We're not going to talk about them.
No,
Tunisia.
No, but they've got to your point, they've got electric wingers like the number 10. I think is their captain. Yeah. He's pretty like he's nice on the ball. Even I've always liked that kid Tanaka from Leeds. I've always like he's nice on the ball. He's calm. So yeah, they do have and every time when you talk about Japanese football, right, it's all about technique. Yeah. They definitely have the touch, and it's just decision making in the final third, right? Yeah. Which sometimes lets them down. Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely see that happen. Like Brazil, like we said, right after the first game, we were all like, "Oh, what's going on with Brazil?" Yeah. But then they met Scotland and was it Haiti at the end? So it's kind of hard to judge if Brazil is just beating teams that are just in front of them, or if they're actually a competitive team. So yeah, it's a tough one.
I think Brazil Ancelotti is trying to do this whole model he used in Real Madrid, especially the last couple of years, which is like, okay, the big stars don't have to press or do anything off the ball. Yeah. Just give the ball to Vini or Acuna, they help you progress it, and we figure it out. Yeah. So my point is like, there's not a lot of off-the-ball work when you watch Brazil. So the game is transition. It's like basketball game. And me and Josh, we know this for a fact. This is like the kind of games Casemiro does not try.
Yeah.
If they continue this basketball approach, I think Japan will shock them.
That's a good one because I was like, why is Casemiro still in this team? Like, the first game, I was like, why is he here? And then then they brought in Fabinho, and I was like, okay, and Fabinho is the backup. Like, what's going on?
And they've got old defenders too, though. They've also got old defenders. Marquinhos and these guys are old. Oh, Gabriel is still young.
Gabriel is fine. And then their fullbacks are not anything to write home.
Correct. Yeah. I just see a lot of flaws that they can get surprised in that heat.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
The heat of Houston is no joke, Josh. I don't know if you've been here. It's no joke.
Yeah, I've only been to Austin, and trust me, man, that was crazy. And that was in February. So
okay.
The South is a different kind of heat.
Yeah. It's different. Okay.
Yeah.
So teams have been eliminated. This question came out of being like a lot of teams have been, I guess, eliminated. We're now down to round of 32. But which team would like leave this tournament thinking like that? Like, we should have done better. Like, how did this happen? That's kind of what the thought process for this question is like. They were kicking them.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
I would. Oh, sorry. You could go.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You go, Josh.
Like for me, I would say between Turkey and Uruguay, but I would say more Turkey because just like when you look at their team on paper, it's just like how did you play the way you did, right? Like it's just the Uruguay one. I will give it that there was already a lot of stuff going on inside camp between the coach and the players. So obviously that's always going to translate on the field and whatnot. But Turkey, like I was a little bit disappointed. And then yes, the U.S. rotated in the last game, but the way they played that last game, I'm looking at them like if you had just turned up,
Yeah.
if you had just turned up at least 50%, like you guys would have at least finished third with an ability to qualify, with a chance to qualify. So I would definitely say Turkey. They were definitely because Turkey has always been not the dark horses in tournaments, but
Yeah,
they've always put a fight. They've always put a fight. So this was the most what's the word of like yeah, it was the most lackluster performance from Turkey, I would say. And I think that performance, I don't know if you saw the guy, their striker who scored, I think it was. He was so angry with the goal, but you could tell he's frustrated. Like, where the hell was this performance
Yeah.
all tournament? Where was this performance? So I will go with Turkey. I will go with Turkey for sure.
Turkey, like they like to be called. I'll give it to you now, Isaac, hold on. Turkey, like they like to be called, is always everybody's dark horse, whether Euros or World Cup. And every tournament, at least for the last 3 or 4, they've disappointed so much that, okay, it makes sense why that. It makes sense why everybody should have dark horses because they always underwhelm every time.
Yep.
So that's why people say dark horses. This is why, because they're very underwhelming. They always underwhelm every time. I think you're ready to go.
Yeah, Turkey is a good shout. The one who I was going to go with was actually South Korea.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, South Korea should have done more to be out of that group. I think South Korea is probably a better team than South Africa, right? Mexico was always going to be a tough ask, right? But I think that I was kind of a little bit disappointed with the way South Korea performed in the World Cup overall, right? I mean, okay, fine, Mexico was hoping to do what they do or whatever, but overall, they just didn't impress, and they're like Japan, right? I always put Japan and South Korea as teams that make it out, could surprise somebody here and there, things like that. So when I look at all the other teams, Turkey is a good shout, but I think next to Turkey, I'll have to say South Korea, a team that's disappointed, especially in that group. Like, the group was not that tough, right? Overall, like I don't think. I'm looking at their group again. It was Mexico aside, South Africa, and Czechia. Yeah, no, wasn't really impressed. So
yeah, I think so. To that point, I think kind of like with South Korea, I think they suffered what I believe Japan might suffer against Brazil when you talk about the Houston Heat. Like South Korea looked like they struggled. Like first of all, because they played Mexico and South Korea that are very physical. Like I remember that first game, Mexico versus South Korea. I expected a very physical game just watching South Africa in the AFCON.
yeah,
South Africa was a very physical team, right? That is just so hard because they're just on you constantly. It's just Mexico just had the home advantage, and just South Africa, they hadn't been in the World Cup since 2010, so it was new to them. Versus Mexico was like, we're home, we're gonna play our asses off. So I think South Korea because South Korea, you could tell they were playing the whole technical game, but they looked like they were struggling in the heat too, and they just couldn't keep up with the physicality of both South Africa and Mexico. So that's why I'm kind of like skeptical with the whole Japan over Brazil. It's just the heat, but I definitely see how South Korea was disappointing though.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. I agree. Good shouts all around. I think mine is Scotland. And I say this because I think they were good enough to come third. And come third, like you said, Josh, give themselves a chance to make it. Like I expected them to like batter Haiti.
Yeah.
And give themselves a chance. All try to get a draw in like maybe against Morocco or something. And why I say they were kicking themselves, like they did all the hard work in the qualifiers, right? Didn't they qualify ahead of? Was it not qualified ahead of Italy or something? They knocked out like
Bosnia beat Italy.
Because Bosnia,
but it was definitely to qualify out from Europe is definitely not easy.
Yeah, they had like a tough group if I remember. I don't know who was there now. Did all the hard work, came here, all created all the hype of like McTominay and then John McGinn, all these guys that had good seasons relatively, and they come and they just like, I think they even won their first game, if I remember. They won their first game against Haiti, right?
Yeah, they beat
Won
Haiti.
their
Yeah.
first game, 1-0, and after then it just looked toothless. They looked like the two games I watched, like, come on, what is this? They looked very, very underwhelming. The whole thing that they are built on, passion merchants are like, God save the queen type of football that you expect. I didn't see any of that. I was like, what's going on? Where's the physicality? Nothing. I didn't see anything. They just, they are the ones that think of kicking themselves when they see teams like South Africa, teams that you think like, I think you're a better team than these teams. Make it ahead of them, So I think they were kicking themselves. Australia made it out the groups too, so they'll be very disappointed themselves, I think.
Yeah, actually, Australia impressed me. So they've impressed me so far in terms of how they've managed to just play. Like I was not expecting Australia to have made it out that group. So I guess with the US and Paraguay, right? Like that's a tough group.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, that was like a group that I didn't. Yeah, a tough group. Yeah, I didn't think Australia would stand a chance.
Yeah, with Scotland, I think that passion was their undoing. I remember watching two things. I don't think they looked. The passion probably just covered any kind of strategic sense they would have had. Because one, they should have gone into that Haiti game saying, we need to beat Haiti well, right? We need to beat Haiti. We can't just go in there and do like a 1-0. We have to beat Haiti well. Because Haiti is not a good team, right? Let's just call it what it is. They're really a good team. They're probably one of the worst teams next to Qatar, right? In the World Cup this time around. So they're not a good team. So go in there and say, look, if we're going to give Haiti 3 is hopeful, but at least two goals. Then we give ourselves some goal difference room, right? And then don't concede as much against Brazil. Like I remember watching that game and I was like, you guys are so naive. Like all this passion ball, and you're just flying all over the place, and Vinny just has space and is just scoring.
I didn't understand that space thing.
And I was like,
it was the two defensive errors, right? 2 defensive errors. That's
tight. And if Brazil wins, let Brazil win 1-0, right? And then you give yourself some positive goal difference to at least kind of be in the conversation. I mean, I know they were like in the top 8 for like a couple of days, and by the time Senegal won by 5 goals and a couple of 4-pointers, they just dropped down, right? So it was hopeful at best. But when you're going in the top 8 with a -3, or it was -3 goal difference. I mean, that was. So I just thought strategically they just didn't look at the whole group and say, okay, what makes sense? They probably went into the Brazil game like super ginger, like, yeah, we can do something. Like, no, you can't.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, keep it tight.
You hit the nail on the head. You did hit it. That's exactly
keep it
what
tight and make Brazil nervous, right? The team like Brazil expect to win. So if by like 60, 65, 70, 75 minutes, Brazil hasn't scored, they get nervous and everything. Worst case, you get a draw. And best case, you sneak a win. Like, like all this Bournemouth and all these teams go out and do against Arsenal. Just wait, make it nervy. And then like the last 10 minutes, give them a little pop shots, and worst case, you get a draw.
And the way I saw it, it's like, like the basketball analogy we use in basketball. I know it's a different sport, but like, let anybody else beat you, not Vinny.
Yeah.
That's why I think at the basic level of principle of like strategy, say, okay, anybody else can beat me. Cunha can take pop shot, Uncle Cass can score header, whatever. But Vinny, you are not beating me.
Yeah.
Double him every time. Just put 2 people there.
Yep.
But Vinny had the most space in the game. I'm like, whoa, Vinny, like people are not serious. You are definitely not serious. Okay, let's move on. Quickly, which round of 32 game are you most excited to watch? There are not a lot of great matchups in round of 32. When you look at it, there are not a lot of great. There's not like everything looks like. Once you look at every game, it feels like there's a clear favorite in almost every game. Yeah. But which one excites you the most? It could be for different reasons. Maybe for your African bias, like Josh. It could be because of Canada. Like, what excites you the most? I'll let you go first.
I would say the game that excites me the most would be the the Netherlands Morocco game. Like on paper, that's the only one that
my mouth.
that's the only one that, yeah, to your point, that actually feels like, okay, this could be a good matchup, right?
It does. It does.
Like that's not the most obvious in terms of and I guess too the Brazil Japan game is going to be fun, but I would definitely say from a competitive standpoint, Morocco Netherlands for sure.
Yeah, that was the one that was right there. Is the Morocco
Netherlands game, yeah.
the Morocco Netherlands game for two reasons. One, I think it's an interesting matchup football wise, but also if anybody has been to the Netherlands before, I think the Moroccans are like the highest immigrant population in the Netherlands. So it's just from a social dynamic standpoint, it's also just going to be an interesting one because you have countries that have intertwined populations for a while. So it's just going to be interesting, just being in like Netherlands and seeing all the Moroccans supporting Morocco and the Dutch supporting the Netherlands. But yeah, that was the one that I had. The other one that I'm kind of excited to see, I still think France is going to beat them well.
Yes.
But it's just France-Sweden. It's just something. It's almost like I want to see the France-Norway again, right? It's almost like, so that one is going to be one. Sweden has been disappointing, like overall, right? They've just been defensively just all over the place.
That'll
be one that
watch. Yeah, Potter is on my fraud watch, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, he's been on fraud watch since he left. He left his juju in Brighton somewhere.
A big fraud watch.
Yeah. But that one is one that I just feel like will be interesting to watch, right? Overall. I would like to just watch it, entertainment factor, if you will. Yeah. But the good matchup, Netherlands, Morocco, that one pops out. Like I was like, yeah, this is one that's going to be interesting.
Okay. England is mine. I think we lost Josh. Yeah, maybe he has gone for his match. England, DR Congo is mine. And it's from the point of the fact that Ghana gave them the toughest test, right, in the group stages.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see, of course, DR Congo replicate. And I think DR Congo is probably maybe I'm being biased. I think they're probably a better team than Ghana.
I think so.
I think so. I think they're a better team than them. Yeah. At least for what they showed in the last year in AFCON qualifiers. I'm very curious to see how Tuchel. So I guess my interest in this one, why it excites me, is I want to see, okay, like you presented a problem a couple of games ago. He kind of struggled against that problem. In fact, I would say he was probably lucky.
He was lucky against Ghana.
Yeah, that penalty and that's horrible tackle from Konsa.
Yeah.
A different time, that's a red card,
penalty,
they lose that game.
Yep.
So I think Diago is going to come up with the same setup. Look, the lowest block you've ever seen. It's coming up, and like very physical, no spaces.
Yep.
I can break, and I think they have a very, big threat in Wissa, like you saw.
Yeah. So, Wissa, and there was the winger. I don't know his name, but I was right there. And I know it's Uzbekistan, so, obviously, going against James or somebody, is a different test. But he was causing Uzbekistan a lot of problems. Honestly, it ended up being 3-1, but for a while I was like, why is this game even close at all, right? So, yeah, I think Congo will give England some problems. I mean, that's the one I said that was, my wild card a little bit. Like that's one that I think, so, yeah.
They score first, right? If you score first, I can see that being a lot of problem for Tuchel, because Tuchel is doing this thing where it's very interesting, where it's like, oh, I'm good. I know why he's in Saka, and he said he announced that he wants to manage his fitness, follow the same procedure with Arsenal. That's the whole Rashford and Gordon thing that he's doing is very weird to me. Like, bro, Rashford is obviously a far better player than Gordon. Can we start?
Yeah. No, he is.
So like, what are you doing? Just stop it. Like you are not resting Rashford. You are trying to make it look like Gordon. He's not better than him.
Yeah.
So just play your best players and stop this whole. Okay, Josh is back.
I mean, it might be that, like, if I had to play devil advocate for Tuchel is like, look, the real tournament starts in the knockout rounds, right?
Okay.
Around 22, and he might be maybe somewhat experimenting and seeing, I don't want to say experimenting, kind of seeing what else he can do. He probably looked at the group and said, okay, if I get through Croatia, everybody else, we should be good, right? Ghana was a test for him. So I understand if you're going to make those kind of odd changes in your starting lineup, the group stage is probably the time to do it. You definitely want to do it in the round of 16. But again, overall, they still haven't looked convincing. The one thing I would say with Congo, if they're going to do anything against England, they have to be super disciplined, and that hasn't been their strong point so far. Right? They've been okay, but I don't think they have been as disciplined as I would have liked to see. But that'll have to be the case there. Oh.
Okay, let's go to the last topic, Josh. I know you have to bounce. I can see you already like getting up for your game.
Yes, sir, my bad. It was just my technology issues. My phone was overheating.
Yeah, that's fine.
Welcome to summer.
Ready at the final question. So I know you have to like. Okay, this one is. I always like to do this because I mean, like you said, before you joined Josh, man, you know, I was talking about that. Club football dominates a lot of our lives now to the point that I think a lot of us probably like club football more than country football, which is very weird, but it's true. If you had to sign one player, Josh, based on this World Cup, so that you've seen, like, yeah, I would like this player to come play for United. Who would that player be?
A player to come play for United. Oh boy. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I haven't seen, to be fair, I haven't seen too many like standout players where I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be a huge signing. I would say definitely. Just somebody that will come and okay, it doesn't have to be a huge signing, but like obviously Muniz from Colombia has always been on my radar, like as a player that United should always get. I know when
the Palace guy?
Sorry? The Palace guy, yeah. I know when, yeah, and also
technology again.
We lose him again.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's frozen. You can go ahead. Arinze, who's your one player?
So I have a rule where I don't like clubs to buy based on World Cup performance.
United have been born too many times now.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
It's twofold. One, you're playing a different dynamic. There's a little bit more passion and all this stuff or whatever. Playing club football, there's going to be days you don't feel like it. So you go to Stoke in the rain. You're like, man, I really don't feel like coming here. I might even break my leg, that kind of stuff or whatever. So it's different when you're playing for your country. That's number one. Number two, you're playing 7 games max, right? Well, they were probably going to be 8 this time around.
Yeah. If you get to the final.
if you get to the final.
Yes.
So generally, you're looking at somebody playing like 4 games, maybe 5, right? And you want to just splash 18. Look, it has gone wrong in many. James Rodriguez is one, right?
Yeah.
He looks like Superman when he plays for Colombia. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he was obviously still okay for Madrid, and he played well at Monaco as well. But if I had to choose one, it would be the Moroccan guy, Saibari. Saibari. I did a quick. I was like, okay, for PSV Eindhoven, he's actually not bad, but again, it's a Dutch league, so exactly put that to the grain of salt. But he's looked pretty good, so that would be one player. And Arsenal needs more attackers, so I'm like, you know what? If I'm to take a punt on an attacker from World Cup, if they say you have to sign somebody for the World Cup,
does it defend? You know what your guy is. You know who you have. Haram.
I know.
Your Haram manager, does he defend? Can he defend? I think that would not sign an attacker that doesn't defend.
But this whole Haram, anyway, this is World Cup.
That's World Cup. But okay. And let's throw Am aside. This okay, now being serious. Arteta would not touch the forward who is not tracking back or doesn't press. You know that. Or doesn't
no. Yeah. He definitely wouldn't. Yeah. But I don't think it's like Arteta wouldn't just have somebody like Messi. Okay. Unless you're Messi, right? Yes, but just float around and perform magic, or like Salah thing that's like
like Mbappe.
Mbappe, right? Or Mbappe, right? We just do that. And I mean, why should he? I mean, Haaland presses, right? And Haaland is one of the best strikers in the world, and he presses. So it's like if you can guarantee me 40 goals a season, fine. You do it one time. After that, I'll say, you know what, you're allowed. Don't press.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a good point, actually. Mine is, like a caveat. That's why this is fantasy. We're playing fantasy here.
Yeah.
I thought it was just when it was in my group chat. I was watching the Ivory Coast game. I think it was the second game, which they won. Oh, I think the game they lost to Germany. There's a kid there, number 21, Ulai. That guy in their midfield, unknown guy. I've never seen. He apparently plays in France, I think. He looks, his players, he doesn't have a waist. He's so press resistant. When they will come, he just turn out of pressure, turn out of pressure. I'm like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? And I started seeing reports that scouts are already watching him. Ulai plays for Ivory Coast. OULIA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Check him out. Watch that game. Check him out. That kid is good.
Okay.
I just put in my group chat when I was watching. I said, "This kid is moving me. I'm seeing what he's doing. He's moving like,
wow. Okay.
Like his touches coming out of the press. He was just doing everything. And apparently, he was a last minute addition to the team. The coach brought him into the team. And Lele saw him in training. That's why the person that's why he started benching Sangare and the main guys for him. Apparently, it was like, oh, this kid is really good.
Wow.
Sangare to the bench. Yeah, Ulai. Check him out. I'm sure it's going to play.
He plays in Turkey. Okay.
He plays in Turkey. Sorry, yes, Turkey.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, this kid is really good. But again, salt, salt.
International
football.
Exactly. International.
It's a dumb, like somebody says, a dumb version of club football. There's no time for like complicated tactics and all those things. So yes, maybe he has no time for football.
If you're going to take a punt on a player from the World Cup, it's better to go younger.
Exactly, and he's young. That's the thing. Go younger. There's probably resale value there, So that's the only person I watch. It's like, this guy's really good. I won't mind. United, we're crying. We're crying for midfielders. So that's where we are all now. We're just midfield. I'm scouting for Carrick. I'm scouting for midfielders. Every time I say, this guy's good. Oh, this guy's good. That's kind of where we are. I think we come to the end of the show. We're going to do like an abridged version.
So what?
I say we've come to the end of the show. I know Josh is probably not making it back.
Okay, I kind of have to go as well. Cause,
Thanks for coming, Arinze. This was fun.
Thank you. First podcast of the new season. Please invite me.
You're coming. You're coming. We're going to take a break after the World Cup, but then we're going to come back and we'll start our season preview. I'm going to make sure I remind EJ. Arsenal season preview. We'll do it club by club. Make sure you invite Arinze to Arsenal season preview.
Yep.
You'll be there. I promise. That's a promise of me. You'll be there.
All right. Well, thanks
for coming up, man.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.
All right.
You're watching Footy Fantasy. It show say the thing go meet your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It show say the thing go meet your football needs. Your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy.